Welcome back, everyone. Welcome to our Word Wizards Wednesday. It's your host, Moon Magic, and we're back for another episode of Word Wizards Wednesday. Here, the place to be at Word Wizards Medicine. Just want to say thank you, everybody who is tuning in during the live, and thank you to everybody who tunes in after and watches this from wherever you are located. My name is Moon Magic again, and we're going to start our Word Wizards episode as we usually do with a pick a card from the Moon deck. And today I also want to pick a card from one of the Oracle decks I've been really vibing with, which is the Threads of Fate Oracle deck, Shadow Edition. So yeah, I'm really excited to share these gems with you all. And we also have a special guest for you all today, which I'm super excited to announce our special guest. I'm going to wait a little bit to announce our special guest and give us some time to check in with one another. How are you all doing out there? I hope you all are doing well. I'm just going to take a couple breaths. That's how I'm doing right now. I need like 2 breaths. So we're just going to do 2 breaths, okay? A deep breath in. And out. Another deep breath in. And out. It has definitely felt like a long week for me over here in Sacramento, but it also has felt like a productive week. Definitely a lot of things, icky parts, things that, have had some stagnation, seem to be a little bit in movement lately. Embolic was just yesterday and the day before, and I talked a lot about it on my personal page. And it is a celebration of the goddess Bridget that marks the halfway between winter solstice and spring solstice. So as I was walking around, I can see all the new buds out, get to see all of the new life starting to bud, but you got to look closely to see it, but it's there. And that was, beautiful to just go outside and get to walk around. There's been a lot of rain here in Sacramento, so I've been kind of cooped up inside. I was definitely feeling a little bit of cabin fever, so I'm glad to see the weather kind of turned around a bit and got to go outside, be with nature today, and I got to also, or yesterday, and also got to, reflect and see how the seasons are changing in my personal life as well as on the outside. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with our tarot card reading so that we can get our Word Wizard episode started. I hope y'all are doing well. Theatre Mutiny is in the house. Hell yes. Alrighty. So I'm going to go ahead and pull from the Moon deck. It's one of my favorite decks that I work with. And the creators, you can find them at _moon_deck. And we're just going to see what card comes up during this time for whoever watches this, either during the live right now with us today, or if you're watching this later on at home. These messages, they still apply. They are completely timeless. And so whenever you watch this video, know that the video and the message found you in the exact right time. Let's see what it got for us. Taking a little time today. But sometimes the cards are like, you just gotta pick it. You know what I mean? You don't need to wait for ish. Don't wait for shit. Just pick it. Okay? Alright, so the card says, I welcome clear vision and inspired action. And this is card number 5. I welcome clear vision and inspired action. I'm going to go ahead and read the description for that card because I love the descriptions for these cards. Clarity. Ooh, clarity. A seed of passion and desire lives within each of us. This seed is our spark, a voice that reminds us of who we are at our core. It keeps us on track, inspires our mission, and craves clarity. The eagle is strong medicine. She can soar to great heights and into the winds of change while maintaining a clear perspective and grounded connection to the earth. When your vision is clear and you know what you want, taking inspired steps forward feels more effortless. If things are not yet clear, the sincere act of listening and asking will lead you there. Imagine you're an eagle soaring over the majestic landscapes that makes up your life. Embrace all that you've already created and acknowledge your journey. The bigger picture bird's eye view can help steer you as you welcome clear and inspired action. Number 5, clarity. So if the number 5 has any significance to you. Ooh, yes. I want to welcome clarity into this next season of life as we get closer and closer to spring, right? And as we get further and further out of 2020 and, continue asking questions and reimagining the ways of existence now that we are here in 2021 and what that means for us. We welcome in clarity, right? And whatever it is that means for you, whatever it is that you need clarity upon, whether you're embarking on something personally, working on a project, with a relationship, I ask that there's clarity, and that you're able to be grounded in your vision. And then lastly, before we get started with our Word Wizards episode, I'm going to pull from the shadow deck because, again, I love these cards here. And I really just love having the opportunity to check in with you all at the very beginning of the video before I bring my guest on for the episode. I hope that this gives you the opportunity to ground in and check in wherever you're located and gives you an opportunity to break from the paradigm and check in with yourself. Tarot is always about being able to look at our internal landscape, and through imagination and through the cards, it kind of pulls that stuff out of us. And so that it can be seen, so that it can be healed, so that we can, work through it and work with it, embrace it, feel through it. So I hope that these, readings in the beginning of each episode give that to you. Alrighty, the cards that I got, so we had clarity for the moon deck, and then share wisdom. It was a twofer, share wisdom, and the weaver. All right, I'm going to go ahead and read the one for share wisdom first. And Word Wizards Wednesdays, we're going to be back every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. this month with different guests. And I'm super excited for our lineup that I have for you all. All right, let me see. Let me get this card out. All right, share wisdom. This card is about the wisdom of experience. Woo. Our most potent medicine is born from the trials we have endured. It is easy to underestimate all that we know and all that we have learned, but we each have a unique perspective and offering to this world. Our wisdom evolves with us. Right now, you are being asked to speak more loudly about what you do know, not worry about what you don't know, or whether you think you are qualified enough. It is time to put voice to all that you have experienced. Beautiful. All right, the next card, the Weaver. I really like this share wisdom card. It makes me think about, today I posted a video on my personal YouTube channel about embolic, what it means to me, what this time of year means for me, a fun writing exercise. If you are into journaling, that you can go check out over at my personal page at Moon Magic Flows. And I've been challenging myself, or been feeling challenged more and more by Spirit to share more openly my experiences with people. Sometimes I'm a little bit more nervous about that because I feel like I'm just a student of the universe and there's so much to learn. But this card is a reminder that even though there's always going to be more to learn, even though we won't always have the answer, and even our answers that we give, there's always another perspective, there's always another side, to still share your wisdom, to share what you've learned, share what you do know, because a lot of times we can spend, and I know for myself, I spend a lot of times in anxious thoughts about what I don't know, which is a lot. The world is a big place, and there is so much to learn, so much to continue to build upon. So, taking what you do know and working with what you got, that's what I get from that card. So I hope that helps you wherever you are today as you're listening to this. The second card that came out was called the Weaver. The Weaver is the master of their destiny. The deck is named the Threads of Fate because each one of us has thousands of threads that, when combined, weave the fabric of our life. We can braid, nurture, or sever any strand at any time, and in doing so, we are the weaver. Whew. This card urges you to take inventory of all the threads active within your life at the moment. What needs to happen to move forward? Which ones need to grow stronger? Which ones need to be cut? And what actions can you take to tend the threads of your fate? The Weaver. And I really like this is all paired together, right? First we had clarity, welcoming inspired, clear action. Then we had share wisdom, share that wisdom and that action, right? And then the Weaver, looking at what it is that our threads are connected to, what it is that we do have the control over, and allowing our wisdom to guide us from our experiences. And sometimes that comes from trial and error. And sometimes it'll hit us like a lightning bolt in that moment and we feel super inspired. And so, as I read this card, it makes me think to lean into those things and to lean into what sparks your inspiration, what sparks your creativity, especially during this time in the colder months when, seasonal depression is a common thing during this time. And still with 2020 and everything that happened last year, there's still a lot of things that need to be processed. And so welcoming clear, inspired action to help us share the wisdom from these experiences and, build towards build with what we can, build with what we know. So yeah, I'm going to let that sit there for right now. Whew. Alrighty. Without further ado, okay, we're going to move on to what you all are here for, which is for our special guest. Our special guest today is no other than one of the biggest creative forces behind Word Wizards, Theatre Mutiny. I'm super excited to have my brother here on the Word Wizards episode show today. It is such an honor to have you. I'm going to do the Theatre Mutiny is originally a graph head from Dallas, Texas, and now MC focused on a mission to preserve the hip-hop culture alongside the music group Pull Through Chaos. Currently quarantined in Sacramento, California, working on several new albums and hosting the weekly Sound Checks hip-hop talk show with Comrade The Outcome on Instagram Live. They go live every Wednesday, 5 to 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Which special shout out to you for being here after hosting your own show on your platform. Theatre Mutiny is always looking for collaborators and hip-hop opportunities that strictly pertain to the original hip-hop philosophy of the 5 elements: MCing, graffiti art, breakdancing, DJing, and beatboxing. Seriously, though, anyone looking to unite for a community cause using any of the 5 elements, let's talk. For more information on the above, you can visit Theatre Mutiny's website, www.theatremutiny.com. Alrighty, so here we go. I'm going to go ahead and bring Theatre Mutiny on our... I wish I had a buzzer, like a... I'm just going to keep doing it with my voice. What up? I cannot hear you. Hold up. I think the sound is disconnected. Shout out to Chris Felix in the chat. Fire Productions. Chris, can you hear us? Can you hear Theatre Mutiny? Oh.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now.
Sweet. What's good?
What
How are
up,
you?
Bro?
Chilling. Just got through eating up a salad, you know. I was just listening to your conversation and dwelling in, you know, meditating on the cards you were pulling and stuff like that. And, you know, talking about the seasons, the ever-changing seasons and whatnot, you know. Just in full celebration as a human, you know what I'm saying? It's good to be here, though. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, cheers to that. I got this hops water. You know, I don't know, I'm trying it out. This is me trying to stay committed to over a year of sobriety. So I'll be trying hops water. I don't know if I'll ever go back to drinking. Maybe. You know, I really want to believe that I can have a normal relationship with alcohol. But for now, we got hops water, y'all.
Nice. Where'd you get that from?
I got it from, I want to say Bel Air. It's like right down on the block, you know?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was walking through and I was like, man, I really want to drink right now, you know? But I don't know if I'm ready, you know? I need some training wheels. So I decided hops water was the way to go.
Okay, so it's not alcohol. It's not alcohol based. It's just...
No, it's just like alcohol tasting, I guess. And it has grapefruit. I don't know. It makes me get to feel like I'm having a party.
Oh, it's like that Old Duels, you know, that non-alcoholic beer, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Come with the flavor, but not the punch. That's good, you know, good for the kidney.
Also, I just wanted to give a shout out to Brew Lee, OG hip hop in Sacramento veteran. But yeah, and shout out to Outcome, PTC fam, who is also your sound checks partner, the one and only. It's a blessing to have you here on the show. You know, I gave your bio. I know you do a lot of different things. You are super talented. You know, whether it comes to your artistic visual skills, your emceeing skills, your music making skills. You really are like a jack of all trades who embodies a lot of the elements of hip hop and is really a true artist. And it's been such a pleasure to get to work with you these last few years and just get to be friends and exchange on a real level. So for people who are watching this and don't know, can you tell everybody a little bit about Creative Forces and Creative Alliance? Because that's how we met here in Sacramento. And I think that would be a good place to start for our conversation tonight.
Right. So, Creative Forces, man, you know, that started with Creative Alliance. You know, Creative Alliance was, it was a community organization that me and my good friend Berto out of Sacramento City College established back in 2017, early 2017.
Shout out to Creative Samurai.
Yeah. And we started that as a student club, you know, and like personally myself, I was new to Sac still, like, you know, so I didn't have many friends, but I wanted to reach into a crowd that was infused with creativity, because like that's just how my mind works. Like I'm not just a music guy, like you said. I just kind of like to shoot everywhere my heart takes me, and you know, entertainment at its finest. You know, you get all the arts in one. Why not, right? So that was my idea with creating the alliance, is like trying to make friends. You know what I'm saying? But I wanted to be involved with the community in Sacramento because I'm not from Sacramento. So that was my way to make friends, one, but that was my way to learn Sacramento, at least the creative sides of it. And then, you know, there started being all these gaps. Like, you got the dance people, you got the music people, you got the art people. So that was the idea behind the Creative Alliance, was to merge those gaps, to bridge the gaps, I would say, you know, for one the sole purpose of community, basically doing events, live pop-ups, open mics, which is where I met you, you know, at the Brazilian Center eventually. And Creative Forces Unite, that term is actually an old hip-hop term. It started in the Bronx, you know, back in the day, way back in the day. They had these group meetings called Meeting of the Minds. And that's why I called our meetings for the Creative Alliance.
Yeah, that was the name of our group chat for a while.
Yeah, I called that. Every time we had a meeting as the Creative Alliance, I termed it Meeting of the Minds, because I was coming at it from a hip-hop standpoint, meaning education, community first, and then the arts, you know, it was automatic. So Meeting of the Minds, Creative Forces Unite was all rooted in that, like just the history of hip hop itself, and then my influence, you know, within the hip hop culture itself. So hence you get the Creative Alliance, and then you get, you know, Meeting of the Minds, and then Creative Forces Unite kind of became a thing online here during the midst of the pandemic just last year. So I carry these ideas everywhere I go. So, you know, that's why you're seeing it live on Instagram now. We haven't done a Creative Forces Unite show here in a while, but, you know, the way things are looking, it's going to come back. I want to do more of that. I mean, they're 3-hour live sessions, so it's not easy to do. It's definitely something I got to prepare for, you know, like phone charger, everything in hand, and then my family's got to be good so I can ignore them for at least 3 hours type, you know. So it's, you know, all the stuff that comes into it, but it's just a passion, you know. I'm really adamant and prone to, I like bringing people together, you know.
Yeah, and salute to you for doing that while also having a family and being very active with Sage and bringing him on board. You bring your son to the events, and it gets to be a family affair, and I really love that element of it as well.
Yeah, that was fun too. I love doing things with my family as much as I can. You know, the pandemic hasn't helped with that at all. You know, I live with them, thank God, but you know what I'm saying? It's just not the same. I was enjoying, you know, introducing my friends to my son, and then they're his friends. You know, he talks about you guys all the time. So
I know, I love it when he comes on the Zoom. He's like, I want to show them this animation. He'd be talking to us like we're just like, you know, his buddies. I love it. It's amazing. Well, with Creative Forces, you know, for those who don't know, Creative Forces was a branch from Creative Alliance, like you said, and it started here on Instagram, and it became something where you were actually building with people outside of just Sacramento. Can you share some of the locations of artists that were part of Creative Forces Unite? Because I know it was kind of global, right?
Wow. Yeah, it got really global for a minute, because I have a friend who was living in Tijuana, Mexico at the time. And he started going live with us, and he just moved back to California, though. It was a friend I actually met in California. I met him in Santa Barbara, to be exact. But because I spent I spent a good year in Santa Barbara touring with a couple of bands I was involved with. So when it came to do the Creative Forces Unite thing, a lot of my peeps from Santa Barbara, you know, became pieces of what we're doing in Sacramento. So that kind of merged the gap from that city. And then, you know, the outcome is from, you know, King City. He started going live with us, and like now me and him got the sound checks thing. This is all on you, by the way. Thanks to the pandemic.
Also, shout out to Archetype, who is also part of the PTC fam, which we'll talk a little bit about PTC later, but I wanted to give a shout out.
Archetype, exactly. That's all my fam and my peeps from Texas, the group that I grew up with, the PTC, you know, the group that I established out there as a graffiti crew originally. And when I met the Archetype and Moko, one of the two members of the group, out of probably like 30 at the time, they were the only two that was doing music, you know? So it's like, I started freestyling with the Archetype, and things just started happening. You know, music started happening. Like, we started releasing songs.
I love the old videos. Cisco has a bunch of, Theatre Mutiny, you have a bunch of dope videos of you and the homies back in the day, you know, with the taped on microphone. You know, like, we gonna get this done no matter what, you know. really
Yeah.
with the rawness and, you know, the love for hip hop and for the music. And so much respect to you for doing it as long as you have been doing. It's an honor for me to be a part of the PTC crew. Shout out to every single one of the PTC members. And if you're not plugged in already, go to @pull_through_chaos and get tapped in to the PTC. Which, you know, since we're here, might as well segue to that. What is the PTC? I know that you've been talking so much about the PTC. I've been talking so much about the PTC. And there's still so much that we're working on under wraps, you know.
For sure.
Let everybody know, what is PTC? What can we look forward to from PTC? And how can everyone get plugged in?
So PTC started as a baby. It was a baby of mine. It started with the P. Literally, I still am actually. I mean, I shouldn't say that, but you know, I'm not doing anything legal. I used to be an illegal graffiti artist. As you know, it's illegal art, right? At least that's the history of it. My history for sure. But my name was Pizza for a long time, you know, and that's where the P came from. And then my homeboy who started the group.
And how old were you at this time? I think that gives a little history too, you know.
I was like 18, 19, I want to say. And you know, I just turned 38 yesterday, so this is like 20 years ago.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Groundhog's Day too, you know, if you want to be American about it.
And Embolic, so lots of special meaning there.
Embolic is special. It's very special. I think anything that has to deal with the equinoxes and the original holistic source of the planet itself is very sacred to me. So I'm happy that you got a lot to say about that. You know, you are a witch, you know, in the making, moon magic, in the flesh. So, you know, it was only pleasant to hear it coming from you. But yeah, pizza. It started with this guy named Pizza, and then this other guy named Taco, hence the P and the T. And then we created a crew, so the PTC, Pizza Taco Crew. And it was very cheesy. Don't get me wrong, my name is Pizza, right? But, you know, I was a starving artist.
Taco and cheese.
I'm the kind of guy that likes to go against the grain. You know, back in the day, or even still, people pick names that sound razor sharp. People pick names that make them sound like, I'm going to kick your ass, you don't want to fuck with me, like incest or sect, or you know what I'm saying? Or some kind of like sharp names, like it's got to be hard or nothing. I went the opposite direction. I chose pizza. I was hungry as fuck at the time. I was living in an abandoned house.
That's legit a stoner's name. Like
we were smoking a lot of weed. We were stealing everything from food to spray paint, everything that we had to survive. Me and Taco were actually eating beans and rice. That whole week we came up with PTC. We were tagging Pizza Taco everywhere, and eventually the crew got larger. It became the PTC crew. And then I started changing the acronym around, you know, especially when I met up with the archetype in Moko. I believe it was Moko that coined the term pot time champs. You know, I mean, we were potheads in Texas. Come on, don't get me wrong. But pot time champs kind of ran with it. We could just kind of ran with that because half of the shows we were doing at the time were stoner parties. You know, we would just show up and play. They didn't even ask us to, but they knew us. They were like, yeah, turn it up. Yeah, whatever. Play that one song again.
For people who don't know, how many members are in PTC?
It started with like 30, but they were all graffiti artists. Now, officially as a music group, that's what we're going by, music group now. Even though we still carry the weight of the graffiti in history in the past, you know, I'm still toying with graffiti, you know, legally, that is, graphic design wise, that is too. But now there are 10 members, you know, you being one of them, me, the archetype, we got Moko, got the outcome. Hostility is our producer. Imperial Beats, another producer. We got Blasphemy. Down is our singer. Appa Zappa and Amaru. So that's 10 total. 10 total official, you know, music cats in the PTC, which is the Pull Through Chaos now, is what we go by, you know. And I really didn't want to change the name at the beginning, but the older I got, I realized I don't want to be known as the Pothead Group, the Pot Time Champs. Even though I say it in a lot of lyrics to this day, I will continue that. But as the group name and image, we changed it to Pull Through Chaos, because chaos is something that's ever-changing, everlasting. It seems like everything that we live by, it comes with chaos. You know, you cannot coexist without it. It's kind of like light and darkness. It's a dichotomy. You can't exist without each other. You know, without the struggle, there's no such thing as called hip hop, right? So it's just kind of like toiling with those ideas. It became Pull Through Chaos. And that's what
Yeah, and I
PTC is
really
at.
love the evolution of PTC and what it represents now, and just the ability to bring kind of that street smart and also
Mm-hmm.
some of that more new age feel together, and really, pulling through the chaos, which there's so much
Yeah.
chaos happening inside our internal lives, our external lives, and so
Mm-hmm.
I definitely really love the symbolism behind PTC. Um, so yeah, what has PTC put out already? What can we expect from PTC? What do you want the folks to know? I know there's still a lot of stuff we're kind
Mm-hmm.
of, keeping low key for now. But feel free to let people know about anything that you want, publicly out there at this moment.
Yeah, so I mean, if you want to go way back to our first days, I want to say 2007, 2006 is when we started actually putting music online, like on MySpace at the time. And our shit got erased pretty much. Like the site is still up, but you can't hear anything. So
Oh
it's a,
wow.
it's a good thing and it's a bad thing because I've been trying to revisit that stuff for some time now. I also lost a lot of my masters at the time because our houses were getting raided. We were losing computers. We were losing backpacks full of gear. We were losing everything. The FBI took a lot of the stuff from me personally. So I've never seen a lot of my CDs, a lot of my CD players ever again, my computers included,
Damn.
and it was my mom's computer at the time. That was the bullshit about it. So, but I used it a lot to post graffiti pics, music, and when my house got raided, that was all taken from us and never seen again. So in the beginning, we eventually got to Bandcamp, and we have an old album on Bandcamp. And I wouldn't recommend it for anybody unless you're really into what we're about. You might enjoy it. I enjoy it because it's nostalgic. I enjoy it because it involves the originators. Archetype, Moko.
Mm-hmm.
It involves the original
And
PTC.
seeing your own personal evolution, I'm sure, because it's a
Exactly.
time capsule.
Just
And
seeing
I,
the
I love
growth.
on a
Yeah.
personal level looking at old tracks
Mhm.
I've done just because in the moment, you make it and you're so in it,
Yeah.
and then when you've had time away, you see it from a different perspective
Oh
and
yeah.
can value your journey so much more.
Yeah. So that's another reason why I don't really share that, but it's up, it's available. All those links you can find in my bio. And eventually, like the archetype is a good example. One of the members who's been just putting out tremendous amount of work since day one. His SoundCloud is full of our old stuff and a lot of his new stuff. He's got like multiple band camps and he drops albums for days. He just dropped one last week. Um,
Hey.
so him and Hostility, which is his friend that I met and is now our producer for the PTC, they've been dropping a lot of great music for some time now under various names. So, but when it comes to the PTC, like we have a lot of stuff on my SoundCloud as well, old stuff, and I just released some of that stuff on a new album. It's a slash new old album I just released. You can only find it on my website, by the way. You can't find it anywhere else. But there's some PTC stuff on there from back in the day. Some of it is not so way back in the day, but I want to say at least 2013, 2014 back in the day. And right now, we're getting ready to put our first PTC album and a couple of singles out on all major platforms for the first time ever. So not many people know about PTC because of that fact alone. We haven't been really,
It
on
was
all
really
these.
underground during that time.
Yeah.
But also a lot of people don't know, and something I love learning from the OGs in hip
What up,
hop
Sue?
is the difference of how music and hip hop has evolved over time. And during your time, which, again, mad respect because it was a different time. You had to
It
push out
was.
CDs. It was a lot more physical copies. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the people I know who come from that era, they only have certain stuff like
Mm-hmm.
on a physical,
Yeah,
cassette tape or something,
that's exactly.
because that was of the times.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it definitely makes sense. And I am looking forward to being able to share some of the stuff that we've been working on. And I know if people go to @pull_through_chaos and go check out the Instagram, there
Yeah.
is lots of fun swag up there, right? Is that still over there?
Oh yeah. We got a lot of merch coming. I'm making individual merch for everybody, but it's all on the same links. Everything is PTC related. We got a new YouTube channel. We're doing the Indica YouTube series right now as we speak. We're doing a lot, and creating the Indica YouTube series was a way to like merge the relationship between new members and old members, and also to keep us active as a group through the wire. You know what I'm saying? It's
Oh
like,
yeah, I totally forgot to mention Indica. Indica has been something I've also had a lot of fun being part of.
yeah.
How many episodes are there now?
We
Seven?
we have 6.
8?
We have 6 now. We're working on our 7th. We're in the middle of the 7th. We're still not sure if it's going to be a tribute or if it's just going to be another interview. But there's so much room for everything. So we're being patient with that. It's our baby. And yeah, we're having a lot of time. Like a lot of good time with that one, like personally. And
yeah, I love it. It's, it's been really cool to interview different PTC members on the Indica episodes, and then it's also been really cool to just talk about different artists in hip hop, being able to do the tribute episodes and just chat on that level. So yeah, people want to find it. It is connected to the PTC link in the bio, right, of that IG page.
Yeah, you can find it in the PTC's bio or my bio. Linktree connects it all, so you'll find it on either or. Like, nice. I made sure you can find it easily, or you can go to my website and still find it. I just blogged about it for the first time. I started a blog a couple weeks ago, and I'm trying to keep up with it. But I'm going to be talking a lot about you guys, the PTC, and then what I'm doing when I'm not live and stuff like that. So you can find it all, link in bio, either page for sure. Mm-hmm.
And, people might not know this, but we share the same mother. We actually, share the same mom. You want to tell them a little bit about our mama?
Mama Earth, or?
I mean, that mama too, but I'm talking about Mama Badu.
Oh, Mama Badu. Okay, so
for those who don't know, Theatre Mutiny went to school with Erykah Badu.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, Erykah Badu is one of my biggest inspirations. I'm in love with her. I got to meet her. And I stayed till like 3 a.m. after one of her shows to do so. And it was exactly worth it. She looked me in the eyes and said, I love you too. And I felt that shit in my soul, y'all.
Yeah, so me and Erykah go way back. Like I knew her on a personal level, even though I was just a student. Like we went to school together basically. I'm not related to her. But I refer to her.
Yeah, we just joke around because she's our, inspiration mother of art.
Yeah, so I've always referred to her as Mama. Like in Dallas, Texas, we went to the same school. I used to always see her in the hallways. One time she brought Common. One time she brought Andre 3000. I met them all over there. I even met Beyonce before she was Beyonce. It was still Destiny's Child at the time. Okay. But I went to a pretty prestigious school, as you can tell. It was a magnet school. You had to do a test to get in and get accepted. So I got accepted by the grace of God. I was living in the projects at the time. So if I hadn't got accepted to this school, I would have been stuck in the projects going to high school in the projects. And that was bad because junior high school in the projects, I got jumped 3 times, for no fucking reason. So, I mean, there were some reasons that I couldn't really understand. One day I was wearing too much blue and the next day I was wearing too much red. So there was no middle ground in the projects for me, But, I got accepted to this school, and it changed my life forever. It taught me everything that I'm doing now,
And as far as I know, that school's pretty known for creating, breeding some really dope individuals, dope artists in the community of Dallas, and also giving scholarships to different youth artists, correct?
Correct. Yeah. And I was told when I graduated, I don't know how I graduated. I skipped a lot, but keep that on the hush hush. It was downtown, it's like the train is right there. You cross the street, you're gone. It was so easy to do. But I had a great time. So when I graduated, the principal was like, you realize when you graduate, as long as you say you were graduated from here, you can get a job. You can get a job in any industry, especially the entertainment industry at the time. And I didn't believe that. I still don't believe that. But I don't really use that, I do what I do because I love it. I don't do it because I went to Booker T, right? You know what I'm saying? It's like, that's the name of the school, by the way, Booker T, Washington. High School for the Performance and Visual Arts. It's a long-ass name. But yeah, I grew up fandomly, introductorily around Erykah Badu. And she did a lot of free concerts in Dallas. So every time I would go to them, I'd be in the front row yelling, Mama, Mama. There was this one time, this one time she was doing like a Red Bull, like Red Bull had sponsored it, so there was Red Bulls everywhere, and I had so many Red Bulls that I was yelling on the top of my lungs, "Mama!"
On that sugar high, caffeine high.
She looked at me, she's like, "Shut up, boo." And I was like, "I'm just playing, sweetheart, just playing, right?" And then she goes back into the music. But yeah, it's like I said, I don't even know if she remembers me. There's a lot of kids at the time, but I remember her. I met her more than 10 times in my lifetime. You know, we grew up in the same neighborhood, Dallas, Texas, Oak Cliff, Texas, the West Dallas projects, whatever you know. I grew up all around Texas. We were a migrating family.
Yeah,
you know?
So, tell me a little bit about how you got from Texas to here. Because, I mean, I know your story, but for those who might be watching and are curious about how you got here to California.
Right. And that's a very long story. I'm gonna try
as much as you want to disclose.
Right. So as you know, I was an ex-graffiti artist at the time. This is like 15 years of doing it. I got to a point where I was too hot. Like, meaning like I was known on the streets. Like, the cops knew my face. I've been arrested probably 20 times prior to this incident. But there was this one incident where a friend of mine was locked up, and he gave me the keys to his car. He's like, "Come pick me up when I get out." So I had his car for about 2 weeks. Then he calls me. He's like, "I'm getting out. Come pick me up." I go pick him up. And this is another member of my crew. He was even bigger than me. This guy was like, everybody knew his name, you know. So it's like we were hanging out, getting up with each other. And I go pick him up from jail. I have all this beer because, you know, it's a celebration. You know, I have all this beer. I got all this spray paint that I just racked. For you out there who don't know what rack means, it means to steal. We racked everything that we could, especially paint. It's an expensive hobby. If you want to paint every night, you gotta make do for it. But I picked them up with all this paint, all this beer, and we don't even leave the parking lot at the jail. Like, we're sitting in the parking lot. He's chugging like a whole 6-pack by himself. I'm drinking. I'm in the driver's seat. You know, it's his car though. It's his car. You know. And then we finally take off and we spark up. We're driving. We're in the middle of downtown. We never make it out downtown. This is where the shit hits the fan. This is the episode that changed my life forever. This is the episode that brings me here today. It started right here. This incident with this guy I just picked up. My friend at the time, who I just picked up out of jail, you know, celebratory. We're drinking. We're at a red light in downtown Dallas. And there's a cop on a bike that pulled somebody over, and my drunk ass friend leans out the passenger window and is like, "Fuck the police," in front of his face. So the guy, he closes his book. He's writing a ticket, literally. He closes that. He's like, "Fuck this ticket. I'm going after them." He jumps on this bike, and my friend looks at me. He's like, "Book it." And first thought, I just punched the gas. Punched the gas. As fucking hard as I floored it. We run 3 lights, red lights. We run 3. The cops right behind us. On the third one, we got hit. The car tumbled 4 or 5 times. Spray paint, unopened beer bottles flying everywhere. His hand was hanging out the window, so his hand got crushed in the process.
Damn.
I just remember getting out of the car. I was bleeding, or at least I thought it was my blood. It was my cousin's blood. She was in the back seat, whatever. Her and her boyfriend at the time. I just remember picking him up. I was like, "Wake up, dude. Like, you realize what you just did?" It's like, oh. And he's holding his hand. I look at his hand, and it's all fucked up. So I wrapped up his hand in my jacket, and I tell him, "Hey, man, you can't tell him I was driving. This is your fucking fault, dude. Like, you know, you shouldn't have done that. You know, you shouldn't have done that." He's like, "It's okay, go." So, you know, I had warrants at the time. Like I said, this is 15 years of me being a graffiti artist. So I was already wanted for several things. I fled the scene, you know, out of instinct, out of fear, out of everything that was happening at the time in my life. Me, my cousin, and her boyfriend, we fled the scene. You know what I'm saying? Well, it turns out the dude snitched on everybody. Not only did he tell him I was driving, he told him my graffiti name. He told everybody's name. The dude, he gets banned from the group eventually. They kick his ass every time. To this day, they find him. They beat his ass because that day put me on probation for 7 years. Yeah. First of all, I did 3 years. I went to jail 3 times for this incident, and they kept throwing charges at me even after I did the first time, the second time, the third time. And it was because his parents were suing me for that incident. His mom was
Really?
his mom was a teacher of the Dallas Independent School District, so she didn't take too kind of that incident. She thought it was all my fault. She didn't understand the story, so it was her name versus my name. They sued me for everything I had at the time. Not only that, I was on probation for 7 years, and my PO told me, Cisco, if you pee dirty, if you do anything wrong, if you get locked up for anything, if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, you are automatically going to get 7 years in prison. No fucks given. So I was on 7 years probation at the time. And after that incident, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, of course, I lasted 2 or 3 months as a pothead, hanging out with, my PTC family, creating music, trying to pull through the chaos at the time.
Mm-hmm.
I pissed dirty. And then my PO was like, okay, just keep going to work. We'll pick you up from work. We're going to detain you. We're just going to let you know it's not looking good. So I decided not to go to work. I met a good friend at the time. She was coming to California. I took off with her. Me and a couple people, actually. Blasphemy was with me at the time. Me and Blasphemy and my other friend named Nuke, we hit the road. We came straight to California. It took us a whole week to get here because we were stopping in every city to go paint. I was still tagging. I was going against the grain. I already knew I was wanted in Texas. I was running from the accident. You know what I'm saying? It was like, not only was it an accident, but it was like I had the gang unit looking for me because they knew my graffiti name. You know what I'm saying? It's like shit hit the fan for me. There's my cousin right there, Meraki God, by the way. She was with me. So
damn.
Yeah, she was with me. She understands that story more probably than I do. And yeah, that shit was horrible. And it hit the fan. It rolled over on me so many ways that I had no choice. I was like, I wanted to start my life over. This is bullshit. I can't do anything. Nothing's going right, after trying so many different ways and trying to pull through the chaos at the time. And it was just bullshit. So I ended up in California, Santa Barbara. I lived in Santa Barbara for at least a year, still wanted. I joined 3 different bands. We created a lot of great music. Solidarity was one of those bands, but that band ended disruptively because our lead singer, the guitarist, the one that started the group, committed suicide. That was in 2011. So after that, I kind of went solo as Theatre Mutiny and started playing with the idea of Theatre Mutiny, right? Because for a long time, people just knew me by my graffiti name.
Like tell us more about that. What made you choose the name Theatre Mutiny? What does it mean to you?
It's an interesting story. It started with the group called The Doors.
The Doors.
Jim Morrison. Yeah. You know how they got their name from William Blake, like The Doors of Perception, blah blah blah. That one really stuck with me. It might have been because I had a really bad mushroom trip at one point. And I thought
I heard you talking about it on sound checks earlier, which shout out to again sound checks. Yep. So I talked about that a little bit on like an hour ago, literally. You can hear more about that trip later, but it started with The Doors. So for a long time I was like, I want a name that says something, It's gotta be, it can't just be a sharp ass name, kind of like the graffiti thing. Like it can't just be sharp. I want to go opposite. So it started with The Door to Mutiny. And then I was like, okay, that's a sentence though. I was like, I want to have a first and a last name. That's what I was playing with the idea for a long time. And then somebody was like, what about Theodore Mutiny? I was like, nah, Theodore's too white. Nothing against white people. Yeah.
Theodore.
I can't see it. Nah.
The only thing I liked about Theodore is the word "the door" was in there. You know what I'm saying? If you spell it the way I did.
Theodore. Okay.
Yeah. It was in there. But then, after a couple of blunts, couple of weeks later, I just remember reading Shakespeare, and then the whole idea of the word is your stage, theater, the word is a theater, it's your stage, right? I was like, hey, there it goes. I like how it rolls off the tongue. I like how it sounds like Theodore, but it's not. And it's me. It's me. It's like my life is a fucking theater. Like most of our lives are a theater. This is a play. This is a playwright. You know what I'm saying? Like everything is a fucking play. We're just playing our role in this entertainment industry or this thing called life, this movie called life, whatever. So it became Theatre Mutiny eventually, and I embraced it. And to be honest, after I embraced it, my lyrics got better. Like I had a focus. You know what I'm saying? I had a mission. Like
Yeah.
my mission was to like not be like everybody else. That's where the mutiny is from. You know, it's like regardless of what I've been told and what I've been taught, I can't take everything for granted. It's like I take everything with a grain of salt to this day. You know what I'm saying? I don't even believe half the shit I hear on the news. I'm in mutiny to everything. I'm in mutiny. I'm pre-developed. I'm in the midst of development as we speak.
But and again, my hat's off to you, salute, because you know, you obviously offline we talk a lot, you know, being friends in real life, and I really value what I've learned from our friendship, what you've shared, and being so open about what you have gone through, and just all the wisdom that you have from it, you know, being such a solid rock in our community still, and in your family, you know, regardless of the things you go through. So salute to you, because you know, this is just the tip of the iceberg, y'all. Like, you know, if you're listening to your music, if people listen to your music, they're going to really hear a lot more about the trials that you've been through.
Yeah.
And if they go listen to sound checks from an hour ago, they're going to hear a lot more as well.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of personal stories that I never really mentioned unless it's in song, you know, because it comes out better. It feels less traumatic when I put it in poetry form. But there, you know, a lot of things I still can't explain. You know, like my mushroom trip, I can't explain that. I can't. And it's almost like it was an out of body experience, for instance. You know what I'm saying? I can't explain how that made me see life differently. Like, you know, I don't believe in death anymore type of, like, I see things for what they are. I see higher beings above. I see everything for what it's not even worth. Like, people don't recognize this stuff unless you're very religious, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not very religious. I'm not going to say I'm very religious at all, but I'm very spiritual now after that incident. So, you know,
and that's honestly, I relate to that a lot because, you know, I haven't spoken a lot about my mushroom trips or my psychedelic trips, but it was definitely something that changed my life forever. And I took way too much, and I was in in Joshua Tree. And so it was really intense, and it was a really bad trip, but it also broke my mind. And I mean, I have a very positive outlook from it because of kind of what you said. Like, it made me see things for what they really are. And then I feel like these last years, because that was, I want to say 2015-ish, around that time. And these last years since then have been really me being like, whoa, what does that mean? What is my life now? Like, you know, my whole life was based on a lie, dude. You know, that kind of feeling. But also like deep gratitude to be able to see the beauty of everything, because the world can be a very dark place. When you connect to plant medicine, and this is my personal experience and my belief, you know, it helps us. It is a medicine, and it helps us, can help us, you know. Anybody who's watching this, I highly encourage you to do your research. And disclaimer, we're not at all, you know, promoting any of those things.
I'm no doctor.
We're just speaking from our own personal experience.
Right.
But you know, it has helped me a lot to be able to process grief and to process trauma, and to allow things to pass through. So yeah, I really relate to some of the things that you talk about. And speaking of medicine, we're at the segue of the show where, you know, what is your medicine you'd like to leave? It's something I like to ask, you know, everybody who's part of the show is what is their medicine they want to, you know, give to those who are watching. You know, it could be just words of advice, something that you learned this year, something you learned today, you know, whatever it is that you want, little jewels you want to leave here on the Instagram live for the good people who watch this, either watching now or watch it later, you know?
Yeah. So, as far as medicine, I would say never stop overstanding. You know, there's a term called understanding. There's a term called understanding, but it kind of puts you under a statement. Overstanding kind of sends you above. Never stop overstanding what you learn, and always learn something new. I wake up every day and I try to find something new. And half the time I'm not even trying to find something new to learn. I read a book, you know what I'm saying? It's like reading is very detrimental, not only for the chemistry in your brain, what wires you, what keeps you afloat. You are what you eat. You know, if you're not reading and you're just taking, you know, looking at the news and you're eating that, and good luck, you know what I'm saying? but you got to really figure out what it is you're ingesting every day and focus on something for the better. And sometimes the negative things do work. Don't get me wrong. You can't have light without darkness. Embrace
Remember
that
that. That's
darkness.
truth right there. Mm-hmm.
Embrace your darkness, you know, and the dreams will take you away. No man is an island, right? The dreams will always take you away. The dreams will always talk to you. That's a different multiverse right there. You can tap into that multiverse with the right ingredients. And, you know, at the time when I had my worst trip ever, I had the right ingredients, but I didn't have the right mentality. So it was a different story. I can talk about it and recognize the spirituality in it now, but this is 20 years later. You know what I'm saying? At
No,
19.
definitely. I think it was a lot worse for a while because I was just lost with no direction and no way to really. That's why I'm saying for anyone who's watching to definitely do their research and you know all that stuff because I didn't. I did not. It took me a while to really process it. You know.
Yeah, and finally, I would like to say, don't give up on your dreams. You know, it's easy to give up on something that's yours when you're too busy looking at what others have. You know, so
that part. Can you say that again?
never give up on your dreams because you see what other people are doing or what they have. You know what I'm saying? And I know we're all scrolly polies these days. You know, we're all over the gram or whatever suits your boat. You know, I'm on the gram all the time too. It's part of the business aspect. But there are moments of time where it's just like my thumb it stops moving and it's like, why am I looking at this? Why? And then you start to compare and contrast, and then you lose your hobby, then you lose your dreams, right? Don't do that. Embrace your uniqueness, embrace your darkness. Don't sleep on yourself. You know what I'm saying? You are not a mattress. You are something more highly intelligent, intellectual. You're this extraterrestrial light being that was sent here as a source on this planet. You know, you're a form of fungi yourself. You were probably one of the oldest walking mushrooms on the planet. So, you know, embrace that darkness because I think I was talking about this recently with the outcome. You know, mushrooms have lived on this planet longer than humans have. They are our oldest ancestors. In fact, they're our closest relatives on any species on this planet. Dolphins, dogs, sheep.
Yeah, I think you were telling me that you have a mushroom book.
Yeah, so mushrooms are our closest ancestor. They have the reproduction system. They live to reproduce. They have lungs. They have hearts like us on a very micro level, you know. So with that being said, like I was saying, mushrooms are our oldest ancestors. They've been here longer, and I feel like when we take these supplements, we tap into that multiverse, which is an Akashic record from now to way the fuck back then. So what you're going to see and recognize won't always, you can't interpret it because this has been here 2 billion years prior to you being a human. You know, we evolved out of bacteria on this planet. They were our oldest ancestors. So now I'm older enough to understand what that mushroom trip was really trying to tell me. It was just showing me this timeline of almost evolution, but it was also full of fucked up shit. You know what I'm saying? It was like some visions I cannot explain. Like I saw the world on fire. You know what I'm saying? I can't explain that. Like I don't know how I ended up in space to see a world from a distance in flames, but I saw that shit. And I was 19, too young to kind of see and perceive what was going on. So do what thou will. You know, that's a saying from Aleister Crowley. Crowley. A lot of people mispronounce his name wrong, but you think of the word holy, it's Crowley. Do what thou will. You know, embrace your darkness, embrace your uniqueness, and take it for what it's worth. And don't let nobody else change what that is. You know what I'm saying? Don't sleep on your dreams. Hold up to your dreams. Hold up to your passions, and keep growing like a mushroom, like the mushroom that you are. Keep growing.
Yes, and shout out to Ube Cool. Ube Cool is also part of the Word Wizards fam.
What
another
up,
dope
Ube?
creative. Also
Thanks,
been
brother.
a part of the Creative Alliance fam here in Sacramento, who I also had on the Word Wizards episode last month. Shout out to you. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah, shout out
well,
to
yeah. Thank you for
and the Black Zebra crew. Yep.
Yeah, Black Zebra crew as well. Ube is also Black Zebra for the nonprofit charity executive director. And shout out to Black Zebra in general from Sacramento, our independent journalist crew doing their thing and, you know, keeping us informed about what's happening in the community. Salute. But yeah, embracing darkness. You know, I used to think a lot that, like, you know, this colonial concept of perfectionism and that, you know, we have to hide these dark parts, you know, and hate ourselves for those things,
Hmm.
and this year, especially 2020, has been teaching me a lot about how to I laugh about dark things. I don't know why. I'm like
Dark humor
it's
is the
a
thing,
weird trauma
gang.
response, and I have this thing where I laugh at like the worst inappropriate times, and people think, sorry, I was getting a call.
Okay, yeah.
When I am laughing at it, it's because I'm only seeing the positive. But I think it's actually sometimes can be so used to dark that you just start to laugh at it. Make entertainment out of it. And I think that's kind of like pull through chaos. It's
Yeah.
honoring those dark parts of ourselves, holding space for those dark parts of ourselves, and making theater out of it. I mean, that's probably one of the reasons I love your
Mm.
name, Theater Mutiny, because that's kind of what it feels like when we get on the track, together, and
Yeah,
the
it's
dynamic.
entertainment at its finest. It's I get to entertain myself and others at the same time. Why not? It's like, you know.
Exactly. Well, what else on here I want to ask you before we get out of here? I know we're going a little bit over time. Okay, the last two organizations I want to ask you about, Sound Checks and We Need Heroes.
Hmm.
What is Sound Checks, just for people who are watching and don't know what Sound Checks is? I know that they can find Sound Checks at your page, and it happens
Hmm.
every Wednesday at 5 to 6. But yeah,
Yeah.
what is it about? A short description. And then also, We Need Heroes, because I know that's something that you're working under wraps as well.
Hmm. So Sound Checks is a hip hop talk show that me and the Outcome came up with. So we can go live every week, every Wednesday from 5 to 6. You can find more information on my website, but in a nutshell, it's just a hip hop talk show where me and the Outcome talk about everything from politics to our favorite music. And at the last 15 minutes of the hour, we play a game called Guess That Artist, where I play 5 different songs and he has
That's
to
my
guess.
favorite segment. I love that
Yeah.
part. I learned so much just getting to tune in and listen.
And again, I learned a lot too because half the week before that, I'm looking for a new artist to play. So I'm digging into the
Mm-hmm.
underground crates. I'm looking for new stuff. I'm buying new stuff. I'm supporting the culture while sharing the culture. So it's another way to preserve the culture if you want to be that blunt about it. But yeah, sound
Love that.
checks every Wednesday 5 to 6. I just started putting the episodes on my YouTube channel under Theatre Mutiny, so you can catch it on YouTube starting today. Um, but yeah, that sound checks is just kind of came out of the midst of the pandemic. Like me and the Outcome, we were gonna plan a tour earlier last year, but when the pandemic hit, it was like we still should do something. We got to be active. We want to move our vocals. We want to
Mm-hmm.
keep our minds going. We want to embrace the culture that we're getting ourselves involved with. So that's where sound checks came from. And what was the other question? Was We Need
The
Heroes?
other question was about We Need Heroes. I also wanted to give a shout out to XB or Die. Shout out to you. Thank you for tuning in. Another dope artist in Sacramento who you all should check out, has been an artist spotlight.
Oh,
Also on
dope,
the
dope.
Word Wizards page. And hoping to see some features of yours on our playlist coming out soon. But yeah, my second question was about We Need Heroes. And
Mm-hmm.
so, just a little bit about what We Need Heroes is. I know you've been working on building that for a while now.
Oh yeah, yeah. So it started with a phrase, of course. It's like a lot of my early music with the PTC, especially. Um, I always wanted to create a watermark. So the watermarkers was like, "We need heroes." 2013, whatever year it was. I would always just say, "We need heroes," but it was the idea. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of my heroes died early before I was in the game. Before I was doing what I did, the people I looked up to were already dead. And then the people in politics, I can't call those people my heroes. I don't even believe in the system. The system is weak. The
Yeah.
system is founded on systemic racism and everything that we're going through to this day. The system is chaotic. So we need fucking heroes. That was the statement that I was trying to make at the time and still to this day. But it became my record label. So it's officially We Need Heroes Records. It's also my business that I just started on paper. So We Need
And
Heroes.
PTC is actually housed through We Need Heroes, correct?
Yeah, PTC is under the label We Need Heroes. It's an independent label that I started with the phrase alone way back in the day, but it's officially on paper under Sacramento County. I'm an official business, you know, LLC. So
Hey, congrats, bro. That's what's up.
I still got a lot more paperwork to do, but I've been using it like, like mustard on a sandwich. I love mustard.
And salute to you again, because you are a self-taught person, and it's not self-taught from just like having a lot of time and having it easy. It's self-taught from forcing yourself discipline on over time and time again, learning. And I just have so much respect and appreciation for you, because not only are you doing so many things for the community, for yourself, but it's because of that same type of dynamic that I even was able to ever get on Spotify, because around the time we met up, that's exactly how it happened. I was, kind of at the time looking for producers to work with, getting ready to want to work with an album. We met, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. We're gonna, get this album produced. You produced my first ever debut album, Visions 2020, which everyone can check it out. And you helped me through that process of getting the BMI, getting on Spotify, and all that stuff as independent artists that, if you don't have a major record label, and you're like, most people, regular folks out here, struggling and just trying to maintain, it's a lot. It's a lot. And it's overwhelming. And it's language that I'm like, my brain just, so it's so helpful when you have like one person, who you could talk to about it. And I know, like, for anybody who's watching this and you have questions about those things, feel free to reach out to me. I'm going to put that out there, because I 110% in continuing to give that information back out to our community. Because, the language is, I fundamentally believe, written in a way that keeps, certain folks out, And so it's important for us within to be able to continue to give that back out and keep that going in that way. So, thank you for doing that.
Yeah, I just put up a video on my YouTube too, about how to register your songs on BMI and stuff like that. So I got
some what is it? How to DIY?
Yeah. I'm gonna start doing more of that too, because I'm an independent label, and just because I'm an independent label doesn't mean I only care about my people. I care about everybody in the struggle. Hip hop is meant to educate, so that's why I play my role. I'm gonna be able to teach you everything that I know as good as I can. With the resources that I have available. With one of them being YouTube, so why not? So you can find that link in my bio, by the way. If you're looking to register your songs and you want to know how to do it, just go check out the link in my bio. You'll find it. I'll put more up too eventually, but that was the first. I feel like that's you don't need a label to release your music. You can do it all your own, and you can remain independent and get all your royalties, because everybody's trying to get a piece of the pie, including Spotify, unfortunately. So
it's truly the ripple effect, and when that was the first single we put out before the rest of Visions 2020 was created. And for those who don't know, that was my first single. That was my first project that I got to have out on all official platforms. And salute to Ube Cool, who was also part of that music video, and Black Zebra, which serendipitously, the universe put us all together at that time before Black Zebra, is kind of in the pocket of attention that they got, through the riots and stuff, where their stuff just kind of blew up, in amazing ways. But, we were working together, and, that's the fam right there. And it's such a beautiful moment.
Community,
and that song, the way that it's kind of rippled out, you know what I mean? To see, just like you're saying, it's like, you don't have it all together, quote unquote, but you have it all together. You know what I mean? And for anybody who's watching this, whatever it is, it's like, and I know it sounds corny, I know it sounds cheesy, but you really are the ripple effect, and it's one little drop of agua, because I had no idea that one song, that one video would lead us all here, that we would be where we are now.
That's crazy, right?
It's testimony, it's testimony to these creative forces uniting,
Most
Sorry,
definitely.
my dad dabs over here.
I'm with you though.
What else? Do you have any more questions on here? Okay, I think I got to all of my questions. Thank you for, going over time with me. I wanted to leave some time for you to still share. I know that you've had a long day, because I know you also have lots of things within your schedule throughout the week. So if there's anything that you want to present, if you want to spit a couple of verses for us, if you can show us some of your songs that are out right now on Spotify, show some of your graphic work, whatever you feel called to share right now. Even the blogs, if you want to read a couple of sentences from the blogs and, I'll
You
really
know,
just put it in your
let me
court and
see.
take it where you want to take it.
Let me see what I can find you. Because I wrote a poem recently that I blogged about because I found it very special. It was like the beginning of the year, too. Damn it. I'm on my best phone, so this phone doesn't give me what I want. 1 second.
Wah, wah, wah.
But yeah, I don't have much prepared that's not available because everything that I do have prepared is in this phone right here that I'm using to go live with. So I'd have to turn it off to just read it from there. But I should be able to find something on my website, especially the blog I was talking about.
Yeah, and while you're all doing that, if you're not already, follow Theatre Mutiny at Theatre Mutiny. You can find me at Moo Magic Flows, PTC at pull through underscore through pull underscore through underscore chaos. And Word Wizards Wednesdays episodes are going to be happening every Wednesday. I think we're going to go back at it, y'all, till we'll see how long. I might take a month break somewhere within this year, but I'm going to try to push through till spring. Bringing different artists within the community, within Sacramento and beyond, to build with, to share their truths, to share their music, and to give it to y'all to hopefully push forward and inspire and pull through that chaos.
Yeah. So speaking of the chaos, this one is titled "In the Midst of Chaos," and I wrote this in the beginning of the year. I'll read it from this is on my blog, by the way. So it goes like this. I found a space in my mind that helps me escape. Nevertheless, music. One way to cure the boredom of the day. Nevertheless, music. When I feel hopeless, in a range, flipping through these pages, I put my troubles to the side and create, nevertheless, music, right? So like traveling a maze filled with beeswax staircases, cracked walls crawling with reptilian monsters, I cling to this, nevertheless, music. When these monsters evolved into stronger creatures, licking the lights of sunshine, keeping me in the darkness, asleep and awake and still flying somewhere, nevertheless, I embrace my music. Embracing things that I cannot change, absorbing the pain, becoming something even more strange, nevertheless, music. Never let the trends of today make you settle for less when becoming something even greater. Even when you stress, in the midst of chaos, I embrace my music. So that was it. Yeah. That's just one of my newest poems. I write mostly raps, but this is definitely just a poem. Yeah.
I love that. And the way it tied in our entire conversation and a lot of what you do. That was dope.
Thank you. But
do you have anything else you'd like to share?
I can't really share much right now because the way my system is set up, like my electricity was glitching during sound checks, so I had to turn off some devices. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But no, that's pretty much it. I didn't plan to perform nothing. I don't have the setup for it right now, or at least not set up. You know what I'm saying? But I got the tools for the trade.
That's all right, because what that means is everybody got to go to that Spotify, that iTunes, wherever you stream music at, and go stream it up for my boy right here.
Yeah, go stream up that
so
Spotify.
Get the plays in, so you can hear it.
Put some change in my pocket. Put a couple
good quality
quarters in my pocket.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, we're about to wrap it up here. Again, happy birthday to you. Thank you so much for coming up on the show. Thank you so much for, this honestly wouldn't have even happened without you. This is literally your graphic right here. And you brought so much to life out of my brain and helped me so much to grow as an artist in so many ways. Lastly, I just want to put out that your new single, The Climb, is out. Who was that produced by?
That was produced by me and Imperial Beats.
Okay, yeah, and the graphics, super dope. You're like hanging off a building, So check it out. The Climb is on all platforms. Any other plugins you want to sprinkle in before we close out our episode today?
Just go subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's been on. I've had a YouTube channel for 9 years. I didn't take it seriously until like a month ago. So go subscribe to my YouTube channel if you're watching, or at least go check out my website. You know what I'm saying? But nevertheless, embrace your music, you know, embrace your darkness, you know, do that for me, you know, as an MC, but do it for you as an individual with a soul purpose as well. So that's all I can say. Thanks for listening.
Word. That's what's up. Thank you so much, Theatre Mutiny. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in for
You're
another
welcome.
episode of Word Wizards Wednesday. And I hope you all have another wonderful rest of your week. And I'll see you all here back at the same time next Wednesday at 7 p.m. All right. Peace.
Peace.